The day after Jack proposed to me, his first love returned. Facing her inquiries, he awkwardly referred to me as his roommate to explain our relationship. It turned out that his love was a lie, and his promises were lies too. What was real was the compromise after he couldn't get what he truly wanted. Chapter 1. The day Mia returned to the country, I waited for Jack at the courthouse for 3 hours. He called me, his tone somewhat guilty. "Come back first, Mia is here. We're taking her out for dinner." Hearing Mia's name, I instinctively tightened my grip on the phone. Simultaneously, I let out a bitter smile in my heart, thinking, has this day finally come? Jack and I were college classmates, both attending a medical university. After graduation, we worked at the same hospital. Mia was his hometown friend and reportedly his high school classmate. During college, since they were in the same city, Mia often visited our university to see Jack. Over time, I also got to know Mia, but we were never close. Mia studied photography and after graduation, started working in the field, traveling extensively both domestically and internationally. I could tell Jack liked Mia. Whenever they were together, his gaze towards her was full of undisguised affection and closeness. Unfortunately, Mia did not reciprocate his feelings. During college, Mia had pursued a handsome guy from the basketball club, dated a top student from the academic department, and after starting her career, her boyfriends ranged from a journalist to a male model and then an internet celebrity. However, she never once set her sights on Jack. Jack hid his feelings with difficulty. He once told me, almost in despair, "Just this once, the last time. I'll try for myself once more. If it doesn't work out, I'll give up." On April Fool's Day, he confessed to Mia, half-jokingly. Mia was taken aback at first, then playfully punched his shoulder. "We're like siblings, and you want to make a move on your sibling?" That was when Jack gave up, retreating to the role of a friend, playing a part that wouldn't make Mia uncomfortable. Jack and I started dating due to our long-term association. After starting work, we were in the same hospital, even the same department. We worked overtime together, went through countless sleepless nights and thrilling moments. He would drive me home, and I brought him food. Our relationship lingered between friendship and love for 3 years. One day, the hospital received an emergency car crash patient. Jack and I operated together. After more than 10 hours of continuous effort, the patient finally passed the critical stage. Exhausted, we both collapsed on the ground, sharing a bittersweet smile. After a moment of silence, Jack said, "Ning, let's be together." I was taken aback and asked, "What about Mia?" After a pause, Jack smiled and said, "Everyone has a past, but I want to move forward with you." So, we got together. Overall, Jack was a good boyfriend, attentive and considerate in every detail during our 2-year relationship. Yesterday was my birthday. On the rooftop, Jack had prepared flowers and a romantic candlelight dinner. When he knelt down with a ring and proposed, my eyes welled up with tears. He wiped my tears while slipping the ring onto my finger. He said he couldn't wait to marry me, eager to declare his commitment and make me his Mrs. Jack. But now, it seemed he had forgotten all of that. Chapter 2. Jack had booked a seafood restaurant. Mia loved seafood, but I was allergic to it. When I arrived at the restaurant, I saw the two of them sitting at the table, chatting and laughing. Mia, petite and vibrant, always dressed in bright colors, with trendy hairstyles and makeup. Her smile was infectious, making everyone around her feel cheerful too. Seeing me, Mia paused and hesitantly asked, "You too?" Before I could respond, Jack quickly explained, "We work at the same hospital now." Mia smiled at me and then resumed her enthusiastic conversation with Jack. Mia couldn't stay idle, especially loving to travel. Her work also kept her frequently moving. She talked about ancient towns in the south, the historic city of Xi'an, and her recent trip abroad where she rode camels and took pictures with local men. She was like a rainbow, bringing vibrancy and excitement wherever she went. Jack and I, on the other hand, sat there, feeling dull yet infected by her joy and freedom. After all, the hospital was always busy. We faced the sterile, white office, the pungent smell of disinfectant, the suffering of various patients, and the never-ending medical records. It felt like we were becoming mere work machines. But at that moment, Jack seemed to be filled with color. He tentatively asked, "Can you stay longer this time?" Mia's smile faltered slightly, her eyes reflecting a moment of loss and sadness. She nodded and said, "The work there is finished. I can rest for a while." Jack bit his lip and, unable to hide his joy, smiled. During the meal, Mia noticed I was sitting stiffly and curiously asked, "Miss Ning, why aren't you eating?" I smiled faintly and replied, "I'm allergic to seafood. You too enjoy." Only then did Jack remember and awkwardly ask the waiter to bring me something else. Mia asked Jack, "Are you dating anyone? You're not getting any younger, it's time to find someone." Jack froze, glanced nervously at me, and forced a smile. "Let's not talk about me. How about you?" He half-jokingly asked, "Have you found a new boyfriend among all those handsome guys you meet on your travels?" They continued chatting, while I sat silently beside them. I tightly clutched the ring Jack had placed on my finger yesterday, feeling dazed. Earlier, Jack had deliberately avoided Mia's question, not wanting her to know he was in a relationship. If he still had feelings for Mia, what did that make me? After the meal, Mia got tipsy, and Jack carefully slung her over his shoulder, leading her to the car. I carried my bag, along with Jack's and Mia's, following them from a distance. Jack placed Mia in the passenger seat, protecting her head as he buckled her in. He looked up and saw me approaching, his eyes trembling. I coldly asked, "Is it really so hard to tell her that we're together and getting married?" Jack remained silent for a moment, then forced a smile, making excuses. "Don't overthink it. Mia doesn't know about us yet. I just didn't want to spring it on her all of a sudden." His eyes wandered, but he cautiously asked, "Can you give me some time?" Chapter 3. Honestly, I didn't harbor any jealousy or malice towards Mia. She was a good girl, warm, generous, always energetic and lively. I even thought that it made sense Jack would fall for her. If it were me, I'd probably like her too. Feelings were between Jack and me. Conflicts were also between Jack and me. I couldn't develop hostility towards her just because Jack once had feelings for her. But watching Jack's subconscious gestures of care for Mia, I couldn't help but feel sad. When we returned home, Jack settled Mia in his bedroom, even though the room next to mine was available. He wiped her face with a damp towel and even went to the kitchen to prepare some soup to help her sober up. I handed Mia's bag to Jack, who took it naturally and hung it in his room. However, when he saw the charm on the bag, he froze. The charm was a yellow Pikachu, a gift from Jack to Mia. Mia's favorite anime character was Pikachu. Jack still had a Pikachu model in his room. It was a gift he had prepared for Mia but never gave due to his failed April Fool's confession. All these years, he had kept that model, cherishing and memorializing his feelings for Mia. Even after we got together, he didn't throw it away. After he settled Mia, I said calmly, "Can we talk?" Jack glanced at me cautiously and muttered an indistinct affirmative. We sat in the living room. Although it was a rented apartment, the decor and setup made it feel like a home. Everything here was arranged by Jack and me, bit by bit. Here, we cooked together, read books on the balcony, watched sunsets. He would hug me from behind while I cooked, nuzzling like a puppy, and I would tease him while he played games. He had promised that after we got married, we'd buy a house together, building a home of our own. I asked Jack, "Do you still have feelings for her?" Jack quickly looked up and then stiffly denied. "No." He grabbed my hand and gently said, "Don't overthink it. I'm over her. Besides..." He paused and said, "Mia has a boyfriend. She's only ever seen me as a friend." Mia's family situation was complicated. Her parents divorced long ago and each had new families with new children. When she used to come back, she could stay with her elderly grandparents, but after they passed away, she was left all alone. Jack and Mia had grown up together, living close by, more like half-siblings, so Mia turned to him for support. But his explanation still revealed a deeper implication. Mia had a boyfriend and had only ever seen Jack as a friend. So, he chose me not out of love but because Mia would never choose him. But I nodded and said, "All right." Looking into Jack's eyes, I smiled and said, "Let's get our marriage license tomorrow and tell Mia we're getting married. Since you said she's like family to you, I'm sure she'll be happy for us." Chapter 4. In the middle of the night, Mia started acting up from being tipsy. Standing at Jack's bedroom door, I saw her crying hysterically in his arms. "I don't understand. Haven't I loved him enough? Why did he leave me for another woman?" Mia had a boyfriend 6 months ago, an aspiring male model struggling in the capital. Mia loved him deeply. Knowing his difficult life as an aspiring model, she sent him money every month, supporting his career in every way, helping him rise step by step. However, when his career showed some promise, a scandal about his infidelity surfaced. So Mia's return wasn't for a vacation but because of a heartbreak, seeking Jack's comfort. It had always been like this. Mia moved from city to city, and whenever her relationships hit a bump, she would turn to Jack, who dutifully played the roles of male best friend and listener, always staying by her side. This time was no different. She clung to Jack's back, sobbing, "Tell me, am I not worthy of love? Why won't anyone truly love me?" Jack, pained, held her face, wiped her tears, and gently comforted. "That's not true. You're so lovable. How could anyone not like you?" Mia sniffled and asked, "Jack, you'll stay with me forever, right? You won't leave me like they did?" Jack nodded, affirming with a soft hum. I couldn't help but laugh silently. How could Mia think no one loved her? She just never noticed. The one truly unloved here was me, yet I still foolishly convinced myself that Jack and I could have a future. With Jack's soothing, Mia's emotions finally stabilized. She let go of Jack and saw me standing at the door. Mia looked at Jack in disbelief and asked, "Miss Ning, why is she here?" Jack stiffly turned to me. I remained silent, waiting for Jack's response. After a long pause, Jack hesitantly said, She's my roommate." He couldn't even look me in the eye as he turned to Mia and explained, "We work at the same hospital. It's closer to work if we share an apartment, and we save on rent." Mia understood and turned to thank me. "Miss Ning, thank you for taking care of Jack." Realizing her earlier outburst, she wiped her tears and, trying to lighten the mood, joked, "Jack is always so careless. I thought he couldn't take care of himself alone. Seeing you here, I feel relieved." Hearing their excuse, I felt a deep sadness, fighting back tears. I opened my mouth, intending to reveal my relationship with Jack, but seeing his anxious and fearful expression, I changed my mind. If he couldn't declare me as his girlfriend, why should I rush to claim that? I didn't want to humiliate myself and become a hysterical, resentful woman. I turned to Jack and said, "I came to tell you that Mia is back, and you two probably need more space. So, starting today, I'll move out and make room for you." Chapter 5. After saying that, I turned to leave. Jack finally realized I was upset and chased me out of the apartment building. At the neighborhood gate, he grabbed my arm, urgently saying, "Ning, listen to me." He panted, facing my cold expression, almost pleading. "You heard it too. Mia is heartbroken. I didn't want our relationship to add to her stress. Can you give me some more time?" I coldly shook off his hand and asked, "How much more time do you need?" "Jack, stop deceiving yourself. You've never loved me. You've always loved her." Tears immediately welled up in my eyes as I said, "Don't think I don't know. You stare at her photo in a daze, lose yourself in the gift you never gave her. From the moment we decided to be together, I gave you time and chances. I thought you liked me and just needed time to forget her. But now I realize even your love for me was a lie." Pushing Jack away, I stepped back and said, "Because Mia didn't love you, you were in pain, in despair, so you used me as a lifeline, a temporary excuse to deceive yourself. But a lie is a lie. As soon as Mia appears, no matter how well you acted or deceived yourself before, you can't hide your true feelings. You love her." This was probably the first time Jack and I had such a heated argument. Both Jack and I were generally mild-tempered. When we started dating, we agreed to communicate directly about any issues. If there were any dissatisfaction, we promised to address it immediately and not to mention breaking up during any argument. I still remember Jack childishly making me sign an agreement. He said it was his first relationship and the first time being a boyfriend. He didn't know what to do but genuinely wanted to make me happy and spoil his girlfriend. He asked me to point out his flaws directly so he could correct them, not to score him down in my heart, and never to think about breaking up. He sincerely wanted to spend his life with me. He deceived himself into thinking he loved me, so even those promises seemed genuine. Taking a deep breath, I finally said, "Jack, I love you, but I won't compromise. I want a man who genuinely loves me, who puts me first, who can proudly introduce me to his friends and family, not someone who hides our relationship to protect another woman's feelings, making me feel humiliated." Despite my reluctance, I painfully uttered the words, "Let's break up. Pretend the marriage proposal never happened." Chapter 6. That night, I slept at the hospital. Jack frantically sent me texts, apologizing and making promises. He said his love for me was real, and his desire to marry me was genuine. He said it was the last time he'd worry about Mia and promised to go get the marriage license with me the next afternoon. Looking at the numerous messages, I felt a sense of detachment. The door to the hospital's restroom suddenly opened, and Nurse Gail, seeing me, was surprised. She asked in confusion, "Dr. Ning, why are you here?" Gail was a nurse in our department, often working with Jack and me in surgeries. She knew about our relationship. Gail playfully teased, "Why aren't you at home with your Dr. Jack, enjoying your time together? He was just showing off to us, saying you two were about to tie the knot and asking us to prepare red envelopes for the wedding." Lowering my gaze, I smiled bitterly and said, "You can save your money. Jack and I won't be getting married." Gail's face instantly tensed, disbelief in her voice. Why not?" I didn't answer, pulling the covers over my head to hide my tears in the darkness. The next day, I ran into Jack in the hospital corridor. We both froze, staring at each other with nothing to say. I hurried to check on patients, but Jack grabbed my arm. He pleaded softly, "Ning, it was my fault. Please forgive me this once. I promise it won't happen again." He firmly said, "Didn't you say we'd get the marriage license today? I'll come find you then." But during lunch break, Jack received a call and hurriedly left the hospital. I didn't know what he was doing, but his anxious expression suggested it was about Mia. After work, I called him, but he didn't answer. Feeling lost, I walked out of the hospital. I intended to go home but couldn't face Jack and Mia. I ended up walking aimlessly until I reached the courthouse. Standing at the entrance, I stared at the closed doors, laughing at my own foolishness. Even now, I still held out hope for him. Hadn't I had enough disappointments? Why was I still clinging to that slim chance? Just as I was lost in thought at the courthouse door, I received a call from Gail. She anxiously asked, "Dr. Ning, have you seen the news trending? Is Dr. Jack cheating?" Simultaneously, I received messages from Gail and several colleagues forwarding the news to me. Because of that minor internet celebrity male model, Jack and Mia had made the trending news. Though not at the top, the male model's fans had pushed it up to the 20s. It went something like this. The internet celebrity male model's scandal had caused Mia to write a heartfelt post online, using her connections to ruin his career. This angered the male model's fans, who kept a close eye on her. Now, the fans discovered her relationship with Jack, accusing Mia of being the one who cheated first. To defend their idol, the fans dug into Jack's background, revealing his name, work, and more. The fans even mentioned me in their posts. That guy seems to have a girlfriend, also a doctor at the same hospital. Isn't Mia the third wheel here? Chapter 7. Just as I finished reading the online drama, I got a call from Jack. His voice was anxious and remorseful, asking me, "Ning, can we talk?" Jack arranged to meet me at a nearby cafe. We used to frequent this place. He knew I liked their desserts. During our early working days, as interns with low salaries, we could barely afford our basic needs. Though the cafe's desserts were delicious, they were pricey, and we couldn't afford them. But Jack would save his money to buy them for me, watching me enjoy them. When I had night shifts, he would bring the desserts to the hospital to keep me company. Back then, we weren't even dating yet, often teased by our colleagues, both of us blushing and shy. Because of those happy memories, I once believed he genuinely liked me. But now, he sat there with his head down, muttering, "I'm sorry." Jack hoped I would come forward to clarify online that he and Mia were just friends. He even showed me a template on his phone, instructing me on how to word the statement. "See, you can follow this template. Just say Mia and I are only friends." I looked at the template on his phone and after a moment, let out a bitter laugh. "Jack, don't you feel guilty saying these things? Ask yourself honestly, is your relationship with Mia really just friends?" Jack was silent for a moment, then said softly, "I know I've wronged you, but Mia is innocent. As long as you're willing to clear Mia's name, I'll do anything." I responded, "All right, then let's break up." Jack looked up in shock, disbelief written across his face. I continued, "Understand this, I would help Mia because, in this situation, she is indeed innocent. I wouldn't go crazy with jealousy to the point of harming an innocent person. But you're different." Jack anxiously grabbed my hand, but I pulled away forcefully. Standing up, I looked down at him and asked, "Did you leave the hospital today because of her?" Jack stammered, "It was just a business trip, and I didn't want to upset you." I scoffed. "If you weren't guilty, why would you be afraid of upsetting me?" Jack fell silent, lowering his head and pleading, "Say whatever you want, just please clear Mia's name." Seeing his defeated attitude, my heart ached as if it had been stabbed. On my finger was the ring Jack had placed there just 2 days ago. He had said he wanted to marry me and make me happy. Yet in just 2 days, he had forgotten all his promises and turned into this. I didn't know whether to call him heartless or commend his acting skills. Part of me wanted to destroy him, but reason held me back. I stood up and said, "I want to talk to Mia. After that, I'll decide." Jack nervously asked, "What do you want to talk to her about?" I smiled bitterly. "Are you scared? Are you still dreaming, thinking you have a chance?" Jack hesitated. "Mia doesn't know anything. She's innocent. I don't want her dragged into this." I chuckled coldly. "Is she really innocent?" Initially, I didn't see Mia as a problem. At most, Jack had been infatuated with her, and being liked wasn't a crime. Even if there was fault, it was Jack's. My issues with him were my own. But seeing the photos online, I changed my mind. Those fanatics had a point. Mia had interacted closely with Jack despite having a boyfriend, without any boundaries. Jack was too timing, but what about Mia? Did she really have no idea about Jack's feelings? Or was she playing dumb? Jack arranged for me to meet Mia and repeatedly asked me not to mention our relationship or break up to her. He wanted to maintain his role as her friend. Jack and I sat behind a partition at the cafe. Mia couldn't see him, but he could hear our conversation. I looked into Mia's eyes and asked, "Do you know Jack has feelings for you?" Mia paused, then smiled and countered, "Miss Ning, isn't it you who likes Jack?" Chapter 9. Mia indeed knew about Jack's feelings. After all, when someone loves another, their joy and eagerness can't be hidden. With only the two of us present, Mia candidly said, "Jack does like me, I know. Do you remember during college, on April Fool's Day, when he jokingly confessed to me? But I didn't accept. She sighed, looking out the window. I only see him as a friend, never had those feelings for him. Of course. She turned back to me and said, I can tell you like Jack. Otherwise, you wouldn't have followed him from college to work and even share an apartment. I don't mind. If you want to pursue him, I can even help you. I let out a self-deprecating laugh and asked, if you don't like him, why do you accept his kindness so easily? Mia was taken aback, then fell silent. I answered for her. Because you're greedy. You got used to it. You knew that if you made things clear, Jack might move on, but you couldn't bear it. You needed him as your safety net, someone to lean on when you were down. So, even with a boyfriend you loved dearly, you refused to distance yourself from Jack. You enjoyed his love while keeping him in the friend zone, avoiding any responsibility. Mia, exposed, became flustered. She defensively said, what does this have to do with you? At most, you're an old classmate and roommate. You like Jack, but he doesn't like you. What right do you have to judge? It's his choice. Honestly, I was surprised by Mia's reaction. I had always seen her as a bright and cheerful girl. I thought she was just a beloved figure in Jack's heart. But people are selfish and complex. Even someone seemingly perfect has flaws. I wondered what Jack would think hearing this. Mia continued. The fans misunderstood our relationship. The truth is the truth, lies are lies. Even if you don't clear my name, I'll eventually prove my innocence. Jack called me to talk to you, not because I needed you, but to resolve this. Don't think you can lord over me. I chuckled, showing her my ring. Mia, did Jack tell you? I pointed to the ring and said, that I'm not just his girlfriend but his fiancée. Mia was stunned, and Jack emerged from behind the partition. Realizing she had been using Jack, or perhaps seeing him as a backup plan, Jack's expression turned both embarrassed and angry, his eyes reddening. Finally, he pleaded. Will you help Mia? Just clear her name. I'll do anything. I smirked. Sorry, this has nothing to do with me. From my perspective, there's no reason for me to expose myself to public scrutiny for your sake. Handle it yourselves. Chapter 10. The online uproar intensified, pushing the topic into the top 10 trends. After returning home, I quickly packed my things and moved to a nearby hotel. I thought my life could finally calm down and start anew, but I was wrong. Facing the relentless attacks on Mia, Jack, in an effort to protect her, publicly confessed online. He admitted having a girlfriend and his feelings for Mia, emphasizing it was one-sided and that Mia was innocent. He publicly apologized to me, tagging my account, exposing me to the chaos again. Swarmed by curious onlookers and fans, my account was bombarded, my comments and private messages flooded. Previously, I was a nobody with only a handful of followers, documenting my daily life, my work at the hospital, and moments with Jack. With the sudden influx, I had to disable comments and change my privacy settings. But people still managed to find my photos, real name and workplace. Jack seemed oblivious to the trouble he caused me, solely focused on defending Mia, taking all the blame and even arguing with those attacking Mia. He didn't even ask people to leave me alone as a private individual. Watching him fight so valiantly for Mia, I couldn't help but laugh, tears streaming down my face. Wiping my tears, I began deleting all posts about Jack. He had once sent me a heartfelt text message after I jokingly demanded a romantic gesture instead of a mundane proposal in the operating room. He wrote a serious love letter and texted it to me. We once adopted a stray cat, dubbing ourselves its parents. He'd talk about our future, wanting a daughter and even planning to buy a house after marriage. When he had to travel for work, he rushed back overnight when I collapsed from exhaustion and fever. My social media was filled with our photos and memories. One winter, I was eating a roasted sweet potato, and he hugged me, both of us grinning at the camera. He had practiced claw machine techniques, spending who knows how much to win a plush toy for me, hiding it in our room to surprise me after work. These were my records of happiness, memories I thought we'd look back on when we got older. Now, I deleted them one by one, erasing those moments from my memory. There was no going back, none at all. Chapter 11. After composing myself, I posted a response online. I aimed to clear my conscience and formally end this chapter of my life. The consequences for them were irrelevant to me. My response detailed my relationship with Jack and Mia, clarifying the situation. After posting, Jack and Mia's frantic online defenses ceased. Countless people flooded Jack's account, condemning him as a cheater and a liar. Although Mia wasn't the other woman, her manipulative behavior earned her disdain. In the end, Jack, Mia, and her ex-boyfriend were all vilified by the public. After posting, I deactivated my account. Jack's scandal affected his work, with many people reporting him to the hospital. The director spoke to him. Before any formal action was taken, Jack resigned. The day he left, we crossed paths in the hospital corridor. Seeing me, Jack froze. He moved his lips but only managed to say, "I'm sorry. Whether you believe it or not, I did truly love you and genuinely wanted to marry you." He took a step closer, softly saying, "Hurting you was my fault. I hope today's outcome can bring you some peace and that you'll find true happiness and forget about me." After our breakup, Jack didn't end up with Mia. Rumor had it they cut ties after everything that happened. Later, I saw news about Mia online. She had a new boyfriend, an internet celebrity. Mia proudly shared her photos with him, but his fans attacked her, threatening to unfollow him. Under pressure, the internet celebrity apologized and subtly distanced himself from Mia. Branded a clingy and fame-seeking person, Mia's reputation suffered, forcing her to move abroad. As for Jack, after leaving our hospital, he worked at a small county hospital. I once saw him at a medical conference. Upon seeing me, his eyes lit up, but he stopped when my boyfriend appeared. That day was cold. I had only worn a light jacket in the morning. As the conference venue hadn't opened, we waited outside in the chilly wind. My boyfriend bought me a cup of hot tea and wrapped his coat around me. Jack stood in the distance, watching for a long time before turning away. On the bus ride home, I received a friend request from an unknown number. Though the sender didn't reveal his name, I knew it was Jack. Attached was a message. "Can we talk? Can we still be friends?" I considered it, likely getting my contact from the conference. I didn't accept the request, instead deleting the message. Outside the window, the wind howled, and dry leaves fell in the autumn breeze. My boyfriend yawned, pulling me close and resting my head on his shoulder. I smiled, looking out the window. The scenery was beautiful, and my happiness was on the way.